welcome to yet another episode of T&D Won't Shut Up,
where we discuss and debate relationship topics from a healthy couple's perspective.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel for weekly discussions and share with a friend or two.
Or three.
Or four.
Or five.
Or six.
How you doing today, baby?
I am doing excellent, y'all. It is our anniversary weekend, so we about to be litty in the city.
Yes, we are.
In the rain. How are you doing, Pookie?
I'm good, baby. I had a busy week,
Yes,
but
did.
I too am looking forward to our weekend, and I'm looking forward to this episode that we're recording the day after it aired.
Yeah.
So what are we discussing today?
We are discussing the penultimate episode of Ready to Love, Season 9, Episode 11. It's called Family Ties.
Yes. All right. Let's get right into
Let's
it.
get this party started. All right, so the episode starts at the ladies' lounge, and they look amazing. All of them, the colors for their skin tones, that was so beautiful. And then Tommy comes in, and he basically gives the ladies their assignment for the week, and which is basically the ladies are to introduce their main connections to their family. And Patrice gets on the screen and says she has not introduced, keep in mind, Patrice is 43 or 42. She has not introduced anyone to her family since her ex-husband, which was when she was 20. So from 20 to 42.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd.
That is a very odd. Yeah. Well, I don't know how long her ex-husband been together, but still.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, it's still a little odd.
Yep.
But nonetheless, let's see what it's got going on. What you need to add, baby?
Nothing to add.
Ladies looked bad?
They looked it good.
Looked it.
All right, so in the first scene, we got Mika, Justin, and Mika's dad, Bill. So Bill, you know, he comes to the table, OG style, one of them old school dads, right? But, you know, Mika was pointing out that she usually doesn't bring men around any family unless it's serious. So she actually considers this to be a serious situation. Justin, you know, he said he was kind of nervous, you know, hitting the table because he hadn't been introduced to a father in, you know, forever. But, you know, to be honest, he came off... he didn't come off nervous to me.
Yes.
He seemed to be handling the situation. He spoke well. He answered questions very direct. Kind of, you know, brought a little bit of humor into the situation as well. So I thought that was good. But Bill had asked some questions about his intentions. And, you know, Justin was pointing out that he's been single for a while. And, you know, he's actually looking forward to this type of experience where it's actually a serious relationship. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, I'm not overly concerned about the two children right this second. I haven't seen anything from him that would lead me to believe that he can't just kind of, I don't know, embrace that experience and see what it brings. You know, some people can step in as the stepdad and it grows on them.
Yeah, and you gotta remember she has an 18-year-old and a 6-year-old. So really he's only gonna be a stepfather to one.
Exactly.
You know, and is a boy, so hopefully he can handle that, manage that pretty well.
Yep. Yeah, and so you know, I think they're really connected right now. You know, Mika was saying that, you know, Justin puts her mind at ease. You know, and you know, Justin was kind of pointing out that, you know, there's a lot of party girls out there, but Mika's not that type of woman. So you know, it looks to me that there's some compatibility here. I think there's you know, a mutual set of expectations at this point that aren't too far-fetched. But what I do like, most importantly, is that Justin is about that patience, yes. Right? He never said, I'm all in. He said, look, I'm enjoying this situation, but I just want to be patient and kind of let the process flow.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. I love how he said, you know, when you start rushing, you miss red flags, which is definitely true. And I think a lot of times, especially when you get in your 30s, you start getting so anxious because of the biological clock and the pressure, the societal pressure to be married. And so you kind of lose some patience. And I think it's very important to maintain the patience and just take your time, because getting married is a very serious decision. So I definitely think that requires some patience.
Yep.
Mika's skin is so nice, baby. She's an esthetician and she's a great walking example of her work because her skin is so beautiful.
All right. What I will say is that she does seem a little concerned, though, with the transition. I think, you know, she seems to be, because I've heard it numerous times now, where she's worried about him being single for so long and now transitioning to a father role, if you will, along with, you know, the commitments of a long-term relationship.
Yeah. I also feel like, I can be wrong, but I feel like Mika's been single for a while as well. She didn't even have anybody to bring on the show. That's her ex, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I think she's a mother and she doesn't really go out like that. So I think what she's more concerned with is just the single man independence that you're giving up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's definitely a quick concern. Yeah. Well, great date overall.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Bill gave him the vote of approval, and I think they're planning to go fishing at some point.
Yeah. Nice date.
Yep.
All right.
On to the next. All right. So the next date, we have Vanessa, Chaz, and Vanessa's sister, Gwen. Let me just point out, I love how Gwen was coming in this date, period.
Very smart.
But what did you think of it?
I thought it was a really good date, honestly. I thought she was very wise because I think Chaz is a charmer. And if on first impression, you're going to think this guy is great. Unless you're smart, unless you're tuning in. And I felt like Gwen was definitely tuning in, definitely looking into some of the things he was saying. And wasn't just impressed by the outer appearance like, everybody else been,
Exactly.
So I like that. She asked Chaz, when was your last relationship? He claims he have not dated in the last 3 years.
I ain't buying it.
I am not buying it. He just want to seem so perfect. So yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Right. And then she asked, how many connections do you have? And Chaz says he connected with 10 out of 11.
Even though there wasn't 11.
There was only 10 women. Who did he not connect with, baby? Maya. So, right?
Yeah.
Who else?
I don't know offhand specifically.
Me neither, but did he connect with that first girl that got eliminated, Patricia? Did he connect with April? All those people got eliminated early on. Koshia, was that a connection?
Nope.
Yeah. So come on, sir. Just because you talk to them or just because they exchange numbers with you does not mean that is a connection. A connection is somebody like Rashina or Vanessa. I don't even know if Patrice is a connection, but because she gave you her number and you never called, so
right.
And you lost it. Then he said that he feels very deeply about Vanessa. And the sister asked, what does that mean? And he was kind of like stumbling over his words, didn't really know what to say about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he says something like, well, I know I treat her differently. Yeah. Or it's like, it ain't about what you know in your head. It's what she's seeing through your own actions.
Exactly. And then, exactly, through your actions and by you picking up a new connection while you're on the getaway. So that was a little strange. And Vanessa says that she prefers to be loved out loud and would like to know where she stands. And she deserves that. Anything else you want to add, baby?
Well, Chaz obviously is not making her feel like she's number one. That's just the bottom line. And her sister, rightfully so, was getting at the meat of that. Why aren't you showing? And he, his excuse was that he's trying to follow the process, that, he kind of has to give everyone a shot, that things just got extremely difficult because now Patrice has entered the equation. It's like if you were checking for Vanessa, if she's number one, then you don't add Patrice to the equation. Exactly. Again, him causing the problem, but then playing the victim.
Right.
It just makes no sense.
Exactly.
And the sidebar, with Gwen and Vanessa after the date, Gwen, what does she do? Point out exactly what we've been saying. The dude is manipulative. He comes off like he's playing these women, and we know he is. And she sensed it in a date that might have been no more than 30 minutes to an hour, And then Vanessa, it's like, so for anyone who's watched the previous season, what was the girl's name?
Oh, that was Ready to Move.
Okay.
Kind of remind you of what's her name? Zadia.
So anybody who knows Zadia, I'm starting to get Zadia vibes from Vanessa, because it's like Vanessa is seeing the writing on the wall, and now even her sister has confirmed it, and yet she's still kind of giving this dude a shot, giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not buying it. I think she needs to cut him off.
I don't know. If Vanessa's really smart, what I want her to do and what I think she's going to do, I feel like she's not going to. She's just saying things, but I don't think she's going to choose him at the end. I think Vanessa's pretty smart, hopefully. And I really don't think she's going to choose him. I really don't.
We will see.
Yeah. If you are still watching at this point, we are trying to meet a goal of 50 subscribers by the end of April. So we would appreciate if you would kindly hit the subscribe button and the like button. Thank you.
All right. So in the next scene, we actually have two dates. The first one is Patrice, Alonzo, and Patrice's brother. The second one is Chaz, Patrice's mom, and Patrice's brother. Right. So we'll talk the first one. So, of course, as always, Lonzo comes to the table, very warm. personality, energetic. I think, he quickly started vibing kind of with Patrice's brother, right? So there was a good energy there. Patrice's brother, came out with his first question about what he thought about a long-term situation. And I think he, immediately responded with a joke about, all right, well, let's just go to the courthouse. And, this is consistent with what he's always done, right? He's always kind of led with humor. I think the second question that was asked was, what are your plans on getting a house or an apartment? And he was like, oh, well, I'm going to just go with the flow. And I think by that point, the brother was kind of like, whoa, you acting a little goofy right now. Like you're being a little
too... Ooh.
Yeah, and rightfully, I mean, I was a little direct, but it is true, right? I mean, these are like, real questions, and I'm all for humor and everything, but, they need to be answered seriously.
Yes, exactly.
He's trying to gauge, what Alonzo's bringing to the table so that he could advise his sister,
Exactly.
But I will say that even though he comes off like that playful Alonzo, I still believe he is genuine in, wanting to be with Patrice and do some things with Patrice. But at the end of the day, if he can't convey that and convince Patrice of that, then you're going to have a problem. And this is actually one of the reasons that I think Chaz is the front runner, because in her mind, she's looking, as she's mentioned a few times now, she's looking for a husband, not just a boyfriend. And, obviously Chaz is giving off more of that kind of long-term potential with what he's bringing to the table versus Alonzo with his humor.
Right.
And, what did you think?
I agree with you, honey. I actually feel it was low-key kind of embarrassing because he's joking around so much and everybody just seemed annoyed. At one point he said, if you're too playful, someone will get tired. That's what Patrice's brother said. And I was like, that's so true. All this playing. Like when we asking you serious questions, you're just meeting them with jokes. That's so annoying. And then, what was kind of sad when Alonzo talked about how he accidentally called his stepfather dad. And his stepfather said, don't ever call me that again. Yeah. I can imagine that being very hurtful. And it makes me wonder if he's hiding behind the jokes. Alonzo might have some problems, maybe need to see a little bit of therapy to get through all that because his biological father actually passed away. So I can imagine that being very tough for him. But nonetheless, overall, it was a pretty good date. Patrice's brother said that he was a cool cat. And
I think he said something like he sees a lot of himself in Alonzo, right?
But he said, but in a bad way, because he's like, when I said those things, I was lying.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so.
Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, but nonetheless, overall good date.
Yeah, it was good. And I just want to point out that the brother did ask Alonzo what was special about Patrice, and he said she's very cordial, she has a great personality. He spoke very highly of her.
Yeah.
And the fact that the brother, when a question was thrown to him about his sister, has there been any issues in her dating situations? And the brother was like, no, there's been no flags that he's seen. That he knows a lot of women, and when he compares those women to his sister really stands out as being a stand-up woman. So.
Yeah. So I thought those were some kind words to say about your sister, but you don't date your sister, so you really truly don't know. But these were very kind words.
Right.
On to the next. We have Chaz, Patrice's mom, and Patrice's brother. Patrice's mom, when Chaz walked in, her eyes lit up. So you could tell that's her type. So this conversation might be a little biased because the first thing she sees was attraction. And I think that really played on the way she felt about him, right? She was really attracted to him. The mom asked Chaz if he's wealthy. Chaz says yes. And she's like, how did you get there? He said he started multiple businesses, and he just took off. I don't know. For some reason, I think Chaz is lying about that. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just can't trust this man. And then they start talking about his other connections, and Chaz said there's another connection. He mentions Vanessa, and he basically saying Patrice is a pretty new connection, but during the lake house trip, he said that he was having a hard time over there, a hard time that he put himself in, and Patrice met him with compassion and understanding. Rather than Vanessa, he felt that Vanessa was, he was met with judgment and then understanding. So he really didn't like that. The brother asked about his family, about his parents. His parents been married for a long time. They have 4 children, 4 boys. And he mentions that he's not close to any of his brothers. They all just went separate paths. And, they're just not that close. Anything else you want to add, honey?
Yeah, so that in particular, I guess, kind of stood out as a flag in the mind of the brother. And I think that's just because of the family dynamic that Patrice and her family has. Chaz is, in my opinion, we already know that he can be in any setting and kind of play the part, right? Answer the questions a certain way. And nothing against moms, we all got them, but an older mom, if she's presented with a man who, is, handsome, established, somewhat affluent, speaks well, 9 times out of 10, she's going to buy into it.
She's going to be fooled.
Yeah. And that's what Chaz was doing there. Chaz also talked about the fact that praying with Patrice was a big deal. He brought that up, and then of course, mom brought out a Bible verse. So, I don't know how religious Chaz is, but this kind of showed me once again, here you go, saying just the right kind of thing.
He was the one sucking on titties. He was the one sucking on titties before prayer. Come on, sir.
Exactly.
But he's unbelievable to me. But I know that most people will fall for Chaz. I understand why most people fall for Chaz. Look at Patrice.
Yeah.
She's falling for him. Vanessa, to me, I think she's a smart woman, hopefully, that she's seeing things, She's seeing things, so she's a little concerned.
Absolutely.
And Patrice is not concerned at all.
Not oblivious. At all. Oblivious to it. Yeah. Like think about all the points that Gwen, Vanessa's sister, was bringing up. Patrice hasn't even mentioned one of those things. All right, so that tells me she's not even aware of it, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah. And Patrice is 43 and Vanessa is 35. You expect a little bit more wisdom with Patrice's age, but but this is why when you are so dead set on being married, some people put the blinders on and are oblivious to the obvious things that need to be on point for you to have a successful marriage. I think the reason that Chaz is the front runner in her mind, in my opinion, if I had to sum it up, she wants to be a wife. And she thinks Chaz gives the best option for that, the more promising opportunity or potential to get that. Yeah.
Alonzo does not present that to her, and therefore he's on the back burner. Bottom line.
So she did say that not Alonzo, what's his name? Chaz. She did mention Chaz being prepared for a wife, which I don't agree. I don't agree at all. This 47-year-old man I don't know if he's been married or not, but a 47-year-old man acting like this, he is not prepared for a wife. And I believe that he has a line of women calling him manipulative. He's acting like that's his first time hearing that, but I'm sure it's not his first time hearing that.
Right.
Nonetheless, good date. Chaz will fool you, so I expected it to be a good date, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, so in the next scene, we have Maya and Laron, and right out the gate, you already knew something went down. Mm-hmm. Of course, Maya's mom, called in, said she couldn't make it. I don't even buy that.
I ain't buying it. She called her mom and said, "Do not show up.
Don't show up. Don't even waste your time
with this fool."
Exactly. So apparently they got together outside of the process. They were hanging out at a club. I don't know all the details. I guess some guy started talking to Maya, and then boom, Laron just showed who he really was. Obviously, he got jealous, was being possessive, got in his feelings, and apparently he called her a B, right? Mm-hmm. And told the F you, and I mean, when I heard that alone, I'm like, Maya, you need to cut this dude off. Period.
I'm so glad she didn't introduce him to his mom. And I think Maya's very poised and classy. And trust me, her blood is boiling right there. But she know how to present herself on TV, so she's not gonna act stupid. She ain't taking this boy home. She's not in the process with him. She's not giving him a second chance. But carry on, baby. I'm sorry.
No. And then he, tried to make excuses for himself, saying that, he can get jealous at times. His mouth gets a little crazy when he's angry. He says certain situations just take him there. I'm like, I don't even want to hear any of that.
Exactly.
You are exhibiting no self-control. Firstly, you're being extremely disrespectful to this woman, and then you're trying to make excuses like, oh well, I'm a hothead. I'm from Jersey. This, that, and the other. No, I don't care where you're from. You don't disrespect a woman. Period. But then you're trying to court this woman, and you're already calling her out her name.
Right.
Like. No excuse. And then, he tried to say, well, if this was a repeated behavior, then it's a problem. Right. It's like, nah, you just showed what you're capable of repeating.
Exactly.
So my advice to Maya, get out as soon as possible.
And I think she will. One thing you didn't mention, baby, is in the confessionals, the producers, whoever it was, asked, why did Maya think you called her a B? And he laughed. He said, because I did call her a B. And I'm like, sir, you are disrespectful, and Jersey men do not act like that. So stop blaming it on your state. And if they do act like that, then you need to make some adjustments. You cannot blame your nasty, ridiculous behavior on the state that you were born in. Stop. You are over 30 years old, and you need to act like it. And not only that, domestic violence, that's very serious. That's signs of somebody who will beat a woman's ass. So I'm so glad that Maya was very clear with him. Although, she didn't break it off. But I think she really showed that she was not interested,
Yep.
And I don't think she's going to go on. We saw the preview. I don't think she's going to go on with this man. And I hope she really doesn't. And Laron is a loose cannon. And honestly, that's signs and symptoms of a man that would abuse you verbally and physically. So I would not move forward with this man. Sir, you need to go to counseling, therapy, and you need to be off this damn show. Yeah, I said it.
No. No.
Anything else you want to add?
Nothing else.
All right, on to the next. All right, so the next scene is with Justin and Mika. They're having a date. Mika has this beautiful lime green dress on, and when Justin walks in, he say, "What's up, baby bop?" If you watch Barney and Friends, you got the joke. What you thought about that date, honey?
It seemed like a great date. This has become, in my opinion, the leading connection.
Yes,
here,
I agree.
Everything seems genuine. They're smitten about each other. They're constantly smiling. And it's interesting, too, because, Mika early on didn't really give off that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. But now that she's, with someone that she's really feeling and there's actual potential there, now I think you see her opening up a little bit,
right.
And she has a beautiful smile and a great demeanor and everything. But, of course, she started off with her reservations, about him being single and that transition. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I mean, when you're a mother to two and you ain't really out in them streets like that, this is a big deal, right? Yeah. And you don't want to get hurt, by bringing somebody in who's really not prepared for this type of lifestyle. But one of the things that stood out, though, was, she, I guess, maybe requires constant communication with her partner, and look, I've been with women like that as well. But I always say, it can become unhealthy at times if one partner has an expectation of constant communication and the other person feels smothered, is not getting the space that they need. So I think he made a great point in that, he kind of needs that space, but that, over time, he could kind of gradually move more towards giving her what she needs in that area. Yeah.
And she said 4 to 6 hours without chatting or some kind of communication. I don't really feel like that should be asked for. It actually kind of should be a little standard. Like, we don't go that long without talking to each other, and it's not forced. It just happens, right? Yeah. Because I never say, "Oh, baby, I didn't hear from you. Oh my gosh." Yeah. It just happens, right?
Exactly. And if I ever felt that was a problem, I'm just gonna say it,
right?
Because I have been in relationships where I would go a whole day without talking to someone because of the dynamic of that relationship. Now, of course, these weren't serious long-term situations, but they were nonetheless relationships. The point is communication. That's just what it all comes down to. Right. If a person could be okay with that situation or not okay with that situation, you just got to make sure that you're able to find that balance.
Right.
Yeah. Kiss at the end. Cool. Hug.
Yeah. Body language. What I love about Justin is that Justin don't just say stuff. He's not just talking. I love that. Like when she says she needs more time, he expressed what he needs. Some guys would be like, Chaz would be like, "Oh, I'm all in. I'm gonna be all over you," Right. But he's very honest about what he needs. Like, I'm going to need some space. I require space, Yeah. And he's very clear about that, which I love.
Yeah. So overall, great date. And she did say she doesn't just like him. She don't love him, but she likes him.
That was cute overall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good date.
All right, so in the next scene, we have Vanessa and Chaz go on a date at a restaurant. Vanessa looks beautiful with her blue dress, and Chaz walks in looking clean as always. What do you think about that date, honey?
All right, so they start off with a little bit of small talk, and then I think Chaz asked Vanessa what did her sister think of him. And, she got straight to the point. She said that, Gwen thought he was manipulative. Gwen felt that Chaz didn't feel as deep for Vanessa as Vanessa felt for Chaz. And Chaz ends up calling bullshit on it, not even trying to explore why she might be feeling that way, why everyone feels this way. You know what I'm saying? So that, of course, I have mentioned before, it shows a complete lack of self-awareness. I don't even think he's even remotely aware of what he's doing, or he is absolutely aware of it and tries to play dumb.
I think it's the latter, baby, and I'm sure he heard this before.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, so, he was trying to point out that, Vanessa is number one, that he's bought her, 2 bouquets instead of 1. He says something else about, when he walks into her temple, he worships her. I'm listening to this stuff like, oh my God.
And that is manipulation. Everything he was doing right
manipulation. By the way, that just sounds lame.
Exactly.
He just always goes over the top and what's unfortunate about this is I feel like Vanessa should be calling all this out even more directly than she's doing, but yet while she calls something out, then I feel like she backsteps a little bit, actually accepting some of the stuff that he says. It's like it's giving him a feeling of still having a way in. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing about it is that if I was on TV, I would handle myself the same way. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not. I already know how I feel about you, and that's it. I'm going to handle myself with class and grace. And I'm not going to go there and say, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are manipulative. Going back and forth with you. If you think you think you're not, you think you're not. I just know I'm not going to choose you. And I'm going to keep it moving. Okay.
Well, she says she sees the effort, but I'm like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just saying that, just like you said, to keep the date, above water and not go back and forth.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. But then he ends up asking her to hold her hands under the table. You could see with her body language, too. She wasn't even really feeling it like that. And then he told her that he feels deeply for her and he's toasting to love. And I'm just thinking, Vanessa really needs to get out this situation.
Right. And I really hope that's what she's going to do. Oh, Vanessa says when they spend one-on-one time, she feels fine. But when they're around other people, that's when she can see, his true ways, basically. Yeah. And Chaz, surprisingly, after all that he said at the table in confessionals, he said, I can't say that Vanessa is my absolute top. I can't. But he said that when I walk into your temple, I worship you. Like, those are things that you say to top people, your top connection. And for you to say, I can't say she's my absolute top, manipulation at its best. Anyways, anything else you want to add, honey?
Nothing else.
All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so in the next scene, we have Alonzo and Patrice go on a country line dancing date. I thought that was pretty cute, seemed fun, learning new moves. She said, look, Alonzo's a great dancer, and she just wanted to test out his line dancing skills. So I thought that was overall cute. Seemed like they had fun. Then they had a little sidebar. Just basically, it seems like Alonzo brought up, the way he felt about Patrice's behavior at the lake house. And he mentioned how when Chaz was crying or stepped away, Patrice was all over him. And she was like, I saw a grown man crying. And I feel like he needed me at that time. But Alonzo didn't need me. I feel like he really needed me. Chaz was crying, and I feel like I need to be there. Basically, kept the saving whole behavior. He put himself in this position, so he should be staying in that room and crying by himself, and you should not be in there enabling him. But it seemed like Alonzo seemed a little intimidated by that relationship with Chaz.
And rightfully so, because we have been pointing out how he went from being the front runner to on the back burner, and he's been reminded of it constantly.
Yeah. So, then anything else you want to add to the date?
I think I think they were aligned. They were talking about if there was any issue between them. Alonzo kind of reassured Patrice that he wouldn't just run away and exit the situation, that he would try to, talk to her, get to the bottom of the problem. And I think she appreciated that. And I think she even said that, she could throw a tantrum or something like that, and she would appreciate a man staying there trying to work through it. But, what did she point out at the end? Alonzo took steps towards being a boyfriend, but not necessarily being a husband.
Exactly.
This is what she constantly highlights. By the way, even when they were having their dialogue, their body language, you know, they were like, you know, 3-4 feet apart from each other.
Right.
You know, so I don't think she sees him that way.
Yeah, not anymore at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell he looks like the second runner.
Exactly. And it's interesting because he said that he felt like they grew closer in that date. I maybe he's only seeing what he wants to see at this point.
Kind of strange. And then the date ends off bull riding,
which look fun.
It does seem fun, baby. Can you stand? Have you ever tried it?
I never tried it, but
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've tried it plenty of times, and I fall out in like 2 seconds. I fell off in 2 seconds. Yeah, but nonetheless, decent date. But I don't think this is a connection anymore. What do you think, honey?
I think she's just got her eyes set on Chaz, and that became cemented when her brother and her mother co-signed.
Yikes.
Yep.
All right, so we are at the finals, ladies' lounge, and the ladies walk in looking beautiful as always. And Tommy asks, "How did the family receive the men?" Mika said her dad liked Justin, and she said her concerns that he's kind of in his head a lot, but she really likes him. Patrice says that she's in between the two. And Alonzo give her butterflies, but he doesn't have a plan. Chaz is prepared and ready to be a husband, but he doesn't give her butterflies. And she said that she can't make decisions based on butterflies, which is true, but he don't like you. Anyways, Vanessa says that his sister met Chaz, and Chaz had a hard time articulating the way he felt about her. It's kind of like she was pulling teeth. That's basically all she said. And then Maya talks about Laron. She says that Laron seems hot-headed, possessive, wants to claim her too soon. Tommy kept trying to probe on what she meant by that, and she basically told him about the process. They met outside the process.
But she didn't want to say
she didn't want to put him.
Yeah,
she was protecting him, and I didn't like them. I didn't like that. I felt that she should have been very clear and straightforward about it. Because Laron's an asshole and he needs to be put on the spot. His behavior is not acceptable. So I feel like she should have put him out. Anyways, what else you want to add to this, baby?
I think that's it, baby. What else is there?
Nothing. All right, so Tommy says no one is going home this week. Patrice seems relieved. And because when Tommy said this was the final ladies' lounge, Patrice started tearing up. Did you see that?
Did she?
Yeah, she started tearing up. I'm like, girl, oh my gosh, goodness. She's so annoying.
Yes.
And then,
by the way, I do want to point out that, again, Patrice, you know, when she was explaining her connections with Alonzo and Chaz, still didn't even care about anything that Chaz has been doing. She ended up saying, I don't know what the connection is with Vanessa and Chaz, but it just really don't matter to me because if it's meant for me, it's just gonna fall on my lap. Like, she does not care about anything that everyone else has pointed out with regard to Chaz.
And I think that's important that you pay attention to how he's treating other people as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little strange. But nonetheless, Tommy says the last shindig of this journey is a ready to love barbecue. So next episode they're gonna have a little barbecue, and then it's also the season finale. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The previews we're previewing. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. But nonetheless, anything else you want to add before we shut this down?
Nothing else.
All right, you guys, thank you so very much for tuning in to today's episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. You know we have a goal of meeting 50 subscribers by the end of April, and I think that we can do it. We got a lot of love on our last video, so we really appreciate that. So continue to watch, subscribe, and comment down below. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, we have a healthy relationship series. We have 2 episodes out right now. The first one is on communication. The second one, I believe, is on trust and loyalty, or trust and honesty. But definitely check it out.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So thank you so very much for tuning in. And on that note, TND is
out.
out.